maybe. Okay, wrong.
Okay. So if you are in, you have found the Hey Techies Show, and what we're going to do tonight is record a year-ender show. So welcome to the Hey Techies Show. This would be the pre-show, which is not going to be very long because we need to get started. So.
And I'm not sure about your bandwidth, but mine seems to be working okay, and you are just blurry as all get out to me.
You're blurry too, to me.
Really?
Yeah, your camera is.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just telling you it is.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm paying attention, but I'm not. I'm trying to.
There is some settings you can do to it's somewhere to. I think I don't know. I tried to look through mine, but my camera, if it's really big, it is blurry. It has to be smaller.
Are we recording already?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
This is. What's wrong?
Nothing. We've started. I didn't realize that.
Well, we're fixing to go quiet here in a second and let Guru play the intro like we'll play for the radio show.
Yeah.
Whenever he's ready.
I'm fixing to turn this camera off, so because anytime I play something, it's gonna have my face, and I don't want it to be like, I don't know. I'm just weird that way. Okay. So we're trying to do 54 minutes.
Is that better?
Good grief!
What?
All right.
I'm fixing to mute y'all.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to mute Bruce, I think. Hang on. Where's the? Can you tell I do not use Google Hangouts? All right.
Apple fanboy.
Oh, now Bruce is muted. All right. Stand by. Let's see. Oh, I gotta start recording. I gotta start recording this too. All right. Now we're recording.
Buy it, use it, break it, fix it, trash it, change it, mail, upgrade it, charge it, point it, zoom it, press it, snap it, work it, quick erase it, write it, cut it, paste it, save it, load it, check it, quick rewrite it, plug it, play it, burn it, rip it, drag it, drop it, zip, unzip it, lock it, fill it, call it, find it, view it, code it, jam, unlock it, surf it, scroll it, pause it, click it, cross it, crack it, switch, update it, name it, read it, tune it, print it, scan it, send it, fax, rename it, touch it, bring it, pay it, watch it, turn it, leave it, start, format it, Technologic.
Live from studios in South Hall on the beautiful campus of Jacksonville State University, it's the Hey Techies Show. Now, here are your hosts in chairs that should have been thrown out years ago, Michael and Bruce.
Welcome into the Hey Techies Show. So glad to have everyone in tonight. And this, of course, is not really a live show when it will air on 92J. It's a pre-recorded show. And this is sort of our year-ender. We're all enjoying the Christmas break, and I hope that most of you are. And you get to have a nice break and with some of your family. So that would be, I know everybody would enjoy that. So I'm glad to introduce tonight, bring in Bruce. He's here tonight.
And if you're joining us in online, you are up close and personal with us.
Yes, it is. It is up close and personal tonight. That is for sure. And of course, we have the Guru here. He's behind a picture, of course.
I shouldn't
tonight.
be more. Good evening, everybody. I'm kind of multitasking here. We're trying to do this outside of our normal environment, not in the studio.
That's correct. So it's been one of those things where we just put it all together and hope for the best. But this is traditionally mostly a radio show, and we just add video to it just for the user's experience so that they can, be able to see us sometimes, and it gives another outlet for us to be on. And you can go back and see any of our shows at heytechiesshow.com. And find things like our podcast and, of course, our YouTube channel as well. And, of course, the show notes, which we'll have those up at some point as well. So welcome into the Hey Techies Show. So glad everyone could make it in. And I tell you, this is being an interesting year. We started the show May 7th. of this year. It was our first night, and it was very interesting. We had technical issues that night, and if you
Yeah.
remember, Guru, we only had 2 microphones at the
Yes,
time.
Yeah.
I was a silent one. Yeah, luckily for y'all, I was silent for the first couple of
Only for so long.
Now, I don't know about everybody else, Guru, but I know this is not really important for radio, but all I see is still a picture for you, so no big deal
Oh,
there.
well.
But anyway,
I see you, Guru.
really.
I do. So, another thing I see?
Oh, there he is.
I don't know if y'all noticed this today, which I'll be working. You'll hear me typing as the show's going on because I'm applying for a new job.
Do what? You want
So I'm applying for a new job. There is a job that was just released that I'm qualified for and very excited to apply for by somebody you may know, NASA. They now
I
have
think I know about that.
astronaut candidates. So I'm going to apply to be an astronaut.
Really?
You have
Absolutely.
that
So
job
what-
is out of this world?
What's the age requirements on something like that?
Well, age is a protected class, so you can't discriminate based on age, so they don't have that. But I'm sure I'm probably pushing really close to what they're looking for. They're probably looking for somebody a few years younger than me, but they can't legally say that.
Yeah.
But,
Well, that's very interesting.
To be qualified, you have to have a bachelor's degree from an accredited institution in engineering, biological science, physical science, computer science, or mathematics. So just a BS. But a master's degree, or it said I want to use there, an advanced degree is desirable. And you have to be a U.S. citizen.
Oh, that's important.
Yes.
I mean,
So, and you have to have correctable vision to 20/20, which mine can be. I'm blind, but it's correctable.
yeah, you just don't want to have the surgery.
No, I'm probably going to have the surgery, but it says refractive surgical procedures of the eye, PRK, and LASIK are not allowed. See, I was planning on doing that during the break.
So if you have that surgery, you're like disqualified?
I think so.
Wow.
So I
Well,
may hold off. On getting that.
Here's an interesting thing. I went to my eye doctor last week, I believe.
Yeah.
I can't remember what day. Anyway, I went last week for my yearly checkup, and he told me, he's like, well, your prescription hadn't changed in 3 years. It's right on the money. You're a very good candidate for LASIK. And I said, I don't think so.
No, you should totally do it.
I should
Should
totally
totally
not do
do
it.
it.
I would not look I would not look as smart without glasses. So,
It's not about looking. It's about being.
well, that's what she said.
But anyway, back to what I was talking about earlier.
No, are you not excited about? There's
I am-
astronaut jobs available?
I am excited the possibility that you could be an astronaut. I've always thought that's where you should be. You should exist in space.
Space.
Yes.
I would
Of course,
fit
now,
with everything else.
I'm
there.
assuming there's other jobs that some astronauts do that they never go into space.
Oh, I'm sure. I don't know though, but who cares? I'd be an astronaut. I would totally want to go into space.
Well, we would surely miss you.
But the following degree fields are not considered qualifying for those interested. So if you have a degree in technology, including engineering technology, aviation technology, or medical technology, degrees in psychology, nursing, exercise physiology, or some similar field, social sciences, or aviation management, you do not qualify. So just move along. Move along.
Wow.
This is Bruce's job. But Guru, you could totally apply for it.
Yeah, I could. I actually heard this on the way home on NPR.
So yeah, I was upset NPR broke it because I was going to break it on our show. I was going to sit here while y'all were talking and go, and y'all were like, Bruce, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm applying for a new job.
Oh my goodness. Oh boy.
But you have to move to Houston. So I may be doing this radio show over camera a lot.
Well, good thing we're practicing with Hangouts tonight.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
so he'll be really ready for it when he gets this job.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So anyway, what would we do?
I don't know.
Then he
But
would.
maybe I could do one from space.
Yeah, astronaut.
The first Hey Techies from space.
That's right.
Coming
Astronaut
soon. You heard
from
it first.
space. Hey, Tech. You heard it here first.
I believe it could happen.
Sure. I'm not questioning it. Yeah. You are. What are you talking about? What are we talking about anyway here?
We're
Well-
talking about me being an astronaut.
Yeah, I
So,
know.
Awesome.
Yeah. The Hey Techie Show astronaut on the road.
So apparently my USA Jobs, my login for that's no longer valid. So I got to create a new account, which
Great.
really stinks because I had resumes and everything on there.
Oh, that really is terrible.
Anyways,
Well, what I was actually talking about is past shows, and I remember obviously our first show, and it was very interesting because we had a lot of odd things going on right at the first. Of course, it was figured out later, and during the show, and things got a little bit better. And I thought by the end we had really we were really getting. I thought we were getting settled in. And although you go back and listen to it, it's pretty interesting. I think the show is, as far as our first show. And then, of course, this particular episode here is episode 34 when it airs. And so 34 episodes under our belt. And if we've had, great guests. I mean, the last week, of course, we topped it off with Larry McReynolds. And, of course, right out of the gate, we had James Spann. We've had Johnny Jett. Not to forget our fine friend out in California. We had, I know his name. It's just eluded me. I apologize.
We had the my volume's turned down. We had the was it the Madison Fine Arts Academy? Is that what it was?
Yes, we had them. That is true.
I can't think of the guy's
No,
name.
it's
I
that-
apologize.
Florence.
Florence, excuse me, not Madison.
You're-
Florence.
Yeah, Florence, Alabama. You're talking about Jerry.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm talking about our.
hi-fi audio guy.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Scott Wilkinson.
Scott Wilkinson. I knew his
right.
name, but
Yeah.
it has eluded me tonight. He would really be upset, I'm sure. Scott Wilkinson. And let's see. I don't want to leave any. We had Trent Edwards the other night. Of course, I think I had him. And then you guys had the rabbi.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was good. He was
He
great.
was very good.
And we had Karen Pinkert on one night. Me and Guru did. We talked about technologies for the visually impaired. And
I remember
then, of
that.
course, we had the robotics team on. And, we've had a lot of great guests on. And I've really been pleased with what we've been able to do and accomplish in just 34 episodes. So I think it's a great starting point. Looking back on the year, I really feel blessed that we've been able to get this far with it.
I know it's amazing. 33 episodes. We've had like this plethora of guests, and there's more to come.
Yes. Yeah.
The one thing that I will say that I've enjoyed the most is we did the on location stuff with the robotics. That was
we
fun.
did. That was.
That was
we
a little,
got
that's a little outside the radio realm where we did actual, like video, but that's kind of one of my loves is shooting video and editing. Yeah.
Absolutely, and we got a lot of positive feedback from that too. It was a lot of positive feedback.
Yes, absolutely.
So, well, Bruce, looking back, what are your thoughts?
I was just sitting there thinking, like, what all have I talked about all year?
Oh.
We talked about Verizon.
Oh yes,
You sure you talked about Verizon? 'Cause
Maybe
I'm
not.
sure.
I've talked about Comcast. Man, what all have I talked about? Talk about how I hate Facebook and just social media in general, even though technically I'm participating right now. Man,
In general.
I've joined Project Pi.
Yes, you have. You're a Project Fi guy now.
Which I'm loving it so far. Of course, I apparently don't go anywhere because I haven't had any dropped calls because I'm always in the same place. But yeah, man, the show's been fun. definitely it's gone a lot further than what I originally anticipated.
This sounds like a negative thing here.
No, it's not. Like, I mean, I just kind of expected to, I don't know, show up and have fun.
Oh, wait a minute. Isn't that what you do already? What are you talking about?
Yeah, for those who may be new to the show, like we refer to Bruce as the talent. He just shows up at like an hour before the show, and he has made no discussion with us about what he's going to talk about or anything. He just kind of
It's very interesting that way.
he just shows up and asks for his bag of Skittles and gets in front
Yeah,
of the
where
microphone
are
and
my
talks.
bag of Skittles?
Yeah, the Skittle train ran out.
Yeah, that was a rough show because normally the mics, well, since y'all have fancy mics and I don't.
Ha
Tonight,
ha ha! I did tonight.
These are far from fancy.
It's hard to not to not chew into the mic, so I had to wait till breaks, which I'm really gonna miss our Mad Hatter Cupcake commercial tonight.
Oh yeah, no, well it'll be here.
Oh yay, awesome!
Yeah,
So
we don't have all our commercials.
Elon Musk is changing the world, saving it one industry at a time.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! It's getting bad already.
How's this bad? I mean, the man's doing great things. He's trying to bring the future to now.
Yeah.
I'm all for it. We've been tons of hacks. Basically,
I was going to cover some of those.
if you've ever been part of a background check, or if you've ever worked for the federal government, somebody has your information. I'm kind of curious. Like, I would like for some of our listeners to comment and say, hey, I have been contacted. They're doing data protection for me, blah blah blah. Or I'm gonna turn that back on. Man, a lot of people have been hacked. Just, it's been a good year.
Yeah. Actually, I have a list of some of the biggest ones.
The OPM was definitely the biggest.
Yeah.
No
Let's say this goes through a list of some of the biggest ones here. Let me see. The OPM is obviously on there. Ashley Madison.
Oh yeah, good old Ashley Madison.
Yeah, was a big. Did you know that they discovered the hackers called the Impact Team? That was the hackers. Pushed a screen to employees' computers on login that announced the breach. And did you know that they actually don't know how long it was, but it was undetected for a long time, apparently discovered in July 12th, 2015. And 37 million customers' records, including account passwords. Apparently, the vulnerability, Bruce, was a MD5 hash implementation.
Yeah.
They got in through that. And then you mentioned the Office of Personnel Management, which I think the big thing here, 343 days undetected. I mean, no telling. I mean, they had to get into stuff. Yeah. 343 days undetected.
And then just seeing them on Capitol Hill, they're,
yes,
bumbling idiots. Just, well, see, this is what happens when we don't know what we're doing. And things and stuff. And they're like, yes, but how did this happen?
Yeah.
Great year.
Well, we'll talk about some more of those and get into a few other things as this night rolls along. So we'll be right back. Hey Techies Show.
Stay with us.
We're just getting started. Plenty more Hey Techies Show for your listening pleasure.
Looking to cure that sweet tooth of yours? Mad Hatter Cupcake Shop is now proudly serving the Jacksonville area at their new location at 16 Public Square on the Square. Mad Hatter is open Tuesday through Saturday from 11 to 9 p.m. and they are closed on Sunday and Monday. For additional information, be sure to check out their Facebook page, www.facebook.com/MadHatCupcakes, and their website, www.madhatcakes.com.
Gamecock Outfitters, located on the square at 109 Ladiga Street in Jacksonville, provides customers with outdoor apparel and gear. Gamecock Outfitters is able to help you find exactly what you need for every outdoor adventure. Gamecock Outfitters is open Tuesday through Friday from 10 o'clock to 5:30 and Saturday from 10 o'clock to 5 o'clock. For additional information, contact them at 256-435-2008 or check out their website at GadsdenOutfitters.com.
Jacksonville Bookstore offers supplies for school all throughout the year. From books to binders, pencils to Scantrons, Jacksonville Bookstore has it all. They are open Monday through Saturday with convenient hours and location on 302 Mountain Street Northwest in Jacksonville. To find out more, like them on Facebook or call 256-435-7407. Jacksonville Bookstore, a proud patron of WLJS.
Jacksonville Tan is a proud patron of WLJS, serving Jacksonville and surrounding areas since 1987. At their location at 115 Francis Street East, next to Walgreens. Jacksonville Tan knows a thing or two about healthy glow, offering 16 tanning beds and virtually no wait times. A great tan is never out of the question. For more info, call them at 256-435-1770.
Struts of Jacksonville has been serving the Jacksonville community for over a decade. They are located at 500 Forney Avenue, right next to the cockpit. Struts serves wings, beer, and more. Their business hours are Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m., and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. To place a to-go order, please call 256-782-0106. For more information, go to strutswings.com.
Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgot in days?
Welcome back to the Hey Techies Show. So glad to have you in with us tonight.
Good old Reliant K.
Yeah. You know, I think you two, and I don't want to make this too poignant here, but I think both of you only know Reliant K sings Christmas music. I mean, my point is, when I asked for Christmas music, when I asked for Christmas music, both of you sent me Reliant K.
No,
I also sent you Bing Crosby.
Only after I asked for more.
I sent you. Hey, Michael. I sent
Yeah.
you some non-Reliant K because I do listen to Reliant K, but I listen to other things too.
Well, it's fine. But I thought yours said Reliant K too. I looked at all yours.
There's one Reliant K song.
Oh, okay.
One.
Well, maybe
I tried to send you Mr. Hanky.
No, we're not playing. We're not playing that. Guru, I'm not sure what you were trying to tell me earlier, but we'll talk about it some other time.
Yeah, we got it under control.
Well, anyway, I was going through some of our old show notes. I was sort of looking through all of them, you know, just passing through the memories. I wanted to remind all of us, we also had a great week when we had to record a show, our Thanksgiving show. I think it was Thanksgiving show, Micah, or it might have been the previous week. Those two ran together.
Yeah, our main man Micah.
Main man Micah was our first Skype caller, and
Yes.
And I thought that had worked out real well.
And Micah is in the chat room right now.
Oh, good. Well, I'm glad he's listening. I didn't want to leave him out.
And we also have the one and only Miami Rick from the Airline Pilot Guy show is in the chat room with us too.
Miami Rick.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. All right. Well,
we
I'm so
we
glad.
had Captain Jeff the same week. I think Micah was on. So
You're talking about
in the chat.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
in the chat.
Yeah. So you're saying somebody's in the chat right now?
Yeah, Micah and Miami Rick are.
Okay, I was just double checking that's what
Yes.
we were talking about. Okay, great. Well, that's excellent. Awesome.
So I was going to say another thing we got this year was the slew of Microsoft products, the Surface Pro 4, the Surface Book, the phone that nobody's going to use. And at some point we'll get the HoloLens. So
Yeah.
I think the developer kit was like $3,500.
Right.
But I actually got to play around with the Surface Book today. I think you did too, didn't you?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I didn't come down here to do that.
What?
I didn't get. I had other things
So it
going
was
on.
really nice. Just the tablet part itself was super light. Like I can
Huh.
understand how you can only get 3 hours of battery life from just that. But using it as a whole laptop, I can see that'd be pretty sweet. But yeah, it was extremely light. Um, I guess that's the reason why you only get 3 hours of battery life. We also had, of course, they had the new Surface Band, which none of us have reviewed those yet. We're waiting for Andrew Ware to review his, but he's got to wait till Christmas or it's got to go back.
Oh.
But I was looking through some old show notes, and remember we talked about the cloud tax for
Oh
Chicago?
yes. Oh yes.
So what's the latest on that? Have you heard anything?
The
I know they
latest
were going to court. And
that I had heard that
basically all the stuff I had said.
yes,
Whatever I had said.
that is true. Part of it was what you'd said. The last thing for Chicago, I had heard that they had backed off of it a little bit, but I don't know. I don't think there's an end result right now.
Gotcha.
I do know that other cities have been considering it, but there's been such an outcry against it that they backed off of those too. I think I was going to bring that up maybe last week's show, but a week or so ago show, and we just ran out of time. But yeah, that's a that to me is a big story. That's been brewing for a long time. I think that's been discussed so many times, and really that goes to another subject, which is Netflix in general. There is an article out, as a matter of fact, here in the last couple of days about Netflix at CES. And Netflix is going to be one of the, I guess, the keynote. The CEO, I believe it is going to be a keynote speaker at CES this year.
Wow.
And so that will be interesting as to what that entails and where he's looking at going. You know, a lot of their content now, portions of it, are things that they bought these, if you would say, defunct TV shows and actually put a breath of life back into them and put them out as their own original content. And so that also points back to some things we discussed. One particular show I remember, we talked a lot about cutting the wire, cable cutting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And how that would work out for one or particular individual. And of course, ESPN is going to have to heavyweight this, and I think then over the next coming years, and probably even this next year.
Yeah, I think this next year's.
What does ESPN do?
What's their move?
They've obviously been okay with the Watch ESPN Online, and that they've actually, I'm sure, they probably profited from that a good bit. Had a lot of, I'm sure they've been able to sell ads, I would assume, even more through that product. That's my guess.
Well, I'll tell you this, with the video on demand stuff, I've noticed a show that I'm watching, and I've not been pre-recording it. I've just been doing kind of video on demand through DirecTV. And what they have done with this video on demand stuff is they don't allow you to fast forward. So you have to watch the commercials. At no point can you fast forward. You can rewind as much as you want, and they're different commercials than what would come on whenever it first airs.
Right.
So I mean, a lot of them I would think are probably lower paying, advertisers, whereas the people that I guess they're expecting we're still going to get most of our viewers the first time it airs, and then we'll get X amount of users. But I think soon you're going to see where those are going to be the primetime spots of paying for the video on demand, commercial time. That's going to be your prime time, and then you're still going to have good commercials on TV. But who knows? Then you may not even have these companies sending it out.
Yeah, that's a good question. I admit I'm not up on all of that. There's no question there. I don't know where it's going to go. I'm not a huge Netflix user, as far as I don't just go on Netflix and just watch.
You don't binge?
I don't binge too much. I watch a few episodes at a time. And like I said, I'm not a big watcher because not everything on there I'm really interested in. They have a lot of things that would not interest me at all. So, but it's not going anywhere. I think that's nothing.
Yeah, the status quo is trying to keep it the same. But these are big players, new guys. Well, I mean, they're really not as new as they used to be, but they definitely have the capital now that they didn't used to have. And they're major players. So
yeah, no question. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes. And yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say this year we also got El Capitan and Windows 10. If you haven't got Windows 10 yet, you'll have it.
Yeah.
At some point, they're gonna force it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
whether you like it or not.
Whether you like it or not.
Yep.
So I've read some stories of people had it set to not download and not install. They were gone. They came back and it was like, hey, when your computer restarts, 10 is going to install.
Yeah, I ran into that at my church. There's a PC. It's just adamant about putting Windows 10, and like you go to the Windows Update, it wants to install 10. I'm like, no, I don't want to yet. This stuff is like, I've got to test it to make sure.
Yeah, that it's going to work with you.
Yeah, because it's not like just a workstation somebody's using going on the internet. I mean, this is stuff we're using for video production and for.
Microsoft would like in 2016 for it to be a recommended update and not optional. Because right now it's optional, but it's already checked. That's what I don't.
Yeah, you have to go in and like fight around the menus to uncheck it.
Yeah, because see, Microsoft got in trouble with this in the past. They installed. I think then it was a recommended update, but it was to basically counteract people pirating Windows 7. And then a court case happened and was won that, hey, you can't force people to check this because it had to do something with checking the legitimacy of the OS. I don't remember how that court case played out, but I just know that by default it had to be unchecked.
Yeah.
Because apparently it was asking users to opt into something that they shouldn't have had to click or something. I don't know. So I don't know how they're getting away with 10. Somebody just somewhere hasn't complained loud enough. It's probably all it is.
Probably so. But one thing kind of along the lines of all this is wearables. That really became popular.
Yes.
Yeah, I would say wearables.
Because I know Bruce has one on right now.
No, not right now.
Oh, well, he has a wearable. I actually have a Apple Watch.
Yes.
Oh yeah, so we need to talk about that a little bit. You want it?
Yeah, we'll save it for the live show next week. So
all right.
If you're listening to this
next week or this week,
if you're listening to it and it's not December 14th, go back to episode 33.
Yeah, it will be episode 33.
We'll talk about the Apple Watch in episode 33.
Yeah, so which would be the previous week.
Yes.
So
I don't know what week it is.
Well, this is we're hoping this will be air several times over the holiday break or the Christmas break. This is obviously, we said this already, our year ender, and we're hoping that this will air several times over the next. It's probably going to be our Sunday show for the next several weeks. So if you miss it one week, you'll get to hear it, or you can watch it online, or go to our podcast and it'll be available there too. So. But I did want to mention something. We're going to cut to a break here again and get some more of our sponsors in just a moment. But you talked about Apple stuff, and we would be remiss if we didn't mention iOS apps. According to Apple, there is several iOS apps they've named App of the Year. One iOS app of the year is called Periscope, actually.
Oh.
I know many of people know about Periscope.
And you did a Periscope.
We tried it. It was okay. To me, Periscope is more of a personal thing. It's really not a group of people. You have to be, personally up front, and you're more talking one-on-one. And they've a lot of different media people, a lot of different sports. A lot of different popular people have done some neat things with Periscope. And just your average user that just wants somebody to see if they can get 12 people or 100 people or 500 people following them to watch. And, of course, Periscope connects up with Twitter. And I think we even had a story where at one of the big fights, and Bruce will remember this, I don't remember who the fights were because I don't do many boxing. It was a boxing match. It was about halfway through the year. Periscope, they had to take down. Meerkat had to take down a lot of feeds that was being fed, and Periscope had to take down some feeds that was being fed. And it was a big fight this year. But I don't remember all
It
the
was
names.
Pacquiao and somebody
That was
else.
it. That was it, Bruce. I don't remember the names. As I said, don't
Mayweather and Pacquiao.
Mayweather. That was it. So I
The
should.
fight of the century.
And then of course, according to the fight, I guess I thought the girls' fight was pretty much now the fight of the century.
I don't know.
Yeah. So the year's second best, for those of you who care about this, and I've never used this, but it's maybe Guru has seen it. It's called a photo editing tool called Enlight. It starts with an E.
I have not.
The company picked Lara Croft Go as the iOS game of the year. Apparently they also loved Fallout Shelter as the runner-up, and this is interesting to me. Let's see, I saw one more that was odd. I'm trying to find it in this little. I saw on Apple Watch. This is what I wanted to talk about. You mentioned the watch. Dark Sky is the best Apple Watch OS app of 2015. I don't even know what that is. I've never even heard of some of these.
Download it, Guru.
And Dark Sky. I'm not sure what. Yeah, I'm not sure what it is. So Guru will have to look it up.
Yeah,
but those are just some of the few apps that were by Apple deemed to be the apps of the year, and so.
Well, somebody's got to win them.
Yeah, somebody does.
That's right.
Yeah, they certainly do. But this has been, and I guess every year, of course, this is our first year, and you could say it's really our first half year, so we started in May. But there's been tons and tons of technology news. There's no way a weekly show would be able to even dent it as much as information.
If you saw what we have on the docket to talk about that we do not cover,
right?
We could make
2
hours at least.
Sure, and that's a small deal there too. So
yeah.
Anyway, we barely scratched the surface. The surface. Not really the iPad, but and then of course, we talked about the Microsoft products. I don't know if maybe you mentioned. I forgot the iPad Pro came out.
Yeah, which I saw another thing today on that. It was talking about the pen. You had to charge it.
Yeah.
And it was kind of just like, you're asking me to break this thing. So Apple's doing a lot of bad designs lately. So hopefully they will figure that out.
I know several people that actually have this product, and I don't know that they're all of that big on stylist using, but the rest of the product they seem to like. I think they mostly use it for entertainment. It was just, they wanted to buy it. They had the available money to spend on it, and nothing wrong with that. I mean, if they want a toy or want this, I say go for it. But I think the iPad Pro was a logical step that Apple had been going that direction. Whether or not it will.
Yeah.
Whether or not I do think that it's not going to be for everybody. Number one, the price point is so high, just like just like the Surface Book. I would like to have one, but the price point's pretty high.
It's the Surface Book too is part of that, but Apple trying to get into the enterprise market.
Yeah. And they've been doing that for a while. The question is, I know Bruce is shaking.
The question is when they're going to do it.
Well, the question is, why did they shove the Apple TV on the enterprise market? I mean, that's been, to me, that's been one of big headaches.
Yes, and it's not even an enterprise grade product.
I know.
Sucks for the enterprise.
To not change the subject, but to change the subject.
Yeah,
Micah has mentioned a very good point here about mobile devices more broadly, like the Apple iPhone 6s, the Samsung Nexus 5, 6P, Moto X, Moto G, the OnePlus 2, the OnePlus X. Those type of things. There's been a lot of. That's where, and he also made mention about no big change in processors for like normal PCs. Like you haven't.
Yeah, there really hasn't. I agree.
The emphasis has been on mobile devices this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the large market. I mean, they're
Yeah.
mass produced more. I mean, that's where they're going to make their money. But now Intel did come out with what was a 72 core processor, which I can't wait to get my hands on. Just need $3,000. Or if you want to send us
Yeah.
a sample, we'll definitely try.
We'll rack that baby up and we'll
That's
see what we
right.
do with it.
I'm pretty
So,
sure. I'm pretty sure they've sampled it.
I'm sure they have. To people that matter.
We all matter. We all matter,
yeah, but I
Bruce.
mean, you got to be able to do some multi-point processing on that. So it's more for supercomputer applications.
Yeah.
A lot of calculations that need to be done. But
you could put a lot of VMs on that hardware too.
Sure could. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Slice it up.
So yeah, and for $3,000, that ain't bad.
No, it's not.
So but yeah, the mobile device, and we've actually seen, I think, tablets, just the iPad in general, it's kind of fading in the background, and the phone seems to reign supreme. And Microsoft, the Lumia, what was it, 950?
Yes.
It's got the Windows 10 that you can plug in.
Yes.
That is super cool. If it was anybody but Microsoft, and the fact that they're only on AT&T, man, that's, to me, I hope somebody keeps going in that direction, because that's super awesome.
Yeah. Well, we're going to slip on into our break and give our throats a little rest here, and when we get back, we'll cover many more things and finish up this hour. The Hey Techies Show.
Don't go anywhere. There's more in the queue lined up just for you.
Gamecock Outfitters, located on the square at 109 Ladiga Street in Jacksonville, provides customers with outdoor apparel and gear. Gamecock Outfitters is able to help you find exactly what you need for every outdoor adventure. Gamecock Outfitters is open Tuesday through Friday from 10 o'clock to 5:30 and Saturday from 10 o'clock to 5 o'clock. For additional information, contact them at 256-435-2008 or check out their website at GadsdenOutfitters.com.
Struts of Jacksonville has been serving the Jacksonville community for over a decade. At 500 Forney Avenue, right next to the cockpit. Strut serves wings, beer, and more. Their business hours are Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m., and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. To place a to-go order, please call 256-782-0106. For more information, go to strutswings.com.
Looking to secure that sweet tooth of yours? Mad Hatter Cupcake Shop is now proudly serving the Jacksonville area at their new location at 16 Public Square on the Square. Mad Hatter is open Tuesday through Saturday from 11 to 9 p.m. and they are closed on Sunday and Monday. For additional information, be sure to check out their Facebook page, www.facebook.com/MadHattCupcakes, and their website, www.madhattcakes.com.
Jacksonville Tan is a proud patron of WLJS, serving Jacksonville and surrounding areas since 1987. At their location at 115 Francis Street East, next to Walgreens. Jacksonville Tan knows a thing or two about healthy glow, offering 16 tanning beds and virtually no wait times. A great tan is never out of the question. For more info, call them at 256-435-1770.
Jacksonville Bookstore offers supplies for school all throughout the year. From books to binders, pencils to Scantrons, Jacksonville Bookstore has it all. They are open Monday through Saturday with convenient hours and location on 302 Mountain Street Northwest in Jacksonville. To find out more, like them on Facebook or call 256-435-7407. Jacksonville Bookstore, a proud patron of WLJS.
Christmas Day. They're
Welcome back to the Hey Techies Show. So glad to have everyone in tonight. And Bruce had to step out for a minute, so it's just me and the wonderful Guru.
And for the record, that was not a Reliant K song.
For the record.
That was Casting Crowns.
Casting Crowns, that's
I heard
correct.
The Bells on Christmas. That's one of my favorite Christmas songs.
Yeah, oh yes, absolutely. And I hope all of you are going to be really enjoying the Christmas season while we're gone, and we'll get re-energized and prepared for another busy year. I know Guru will be out and about in different places coming up this next year, and so
yeah, we've got some stuff lined up. We've got some reviews lined up already for next year. Some stuff is going to take several months to kind of work in for reviews, but
absolutely,
we'll have more of that to come.
Anyway,
I know we hope to do more on-location videos. So those of you who like our Robotics Day videos on our YouTube channel,
yes,
that's one thing that I really think we need to try to do more of. So,
yeah,
it's a lot of work, but you know.
And of course, earlier in the year, I just happened to find out that I have a littlest biggest fan that we do, Elise, and that was neat. I was rather taken back by that, to be honest with you. It was a little bit overwhelming to think that we had inspired a little fan, and I don't know. It was pretty neat. I have an addition to that story. Apparently, she drives by our church when their family is going back and forth to and from their church. They pass by our church, and she happened to notice my truck sitting out by my church and wanted to go in. And
Hey Techies truck.
Right, that's what she said. And her mom said, "No, we can't do that. They're having service." So anyway, but it was cute, you know. So that's interesting. So, and we've had a lot of, another thing that we could mention too. We've had a lot of great. We've had some callers. We had a lot of great callers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Daniel called us, one of our favorite callers, really so far. I think I could say that by far. He called us about his phone, and then called us back about some other things, and we talked about his phone falling in the water, and had a lot of good conversations about that. And
gotten a lot of emails.
People
that are phone shy.
That's right. Online requests and pre-show questions.
Facebook.
Twitter. We sure have.
And I don't field those questions.
Yes.
Facebook and Twitter.
You do eventually.
Eventually.
Yeah.
I don't see them.
So we've had we've really, I felt like, I know I've said this earlier, but I've been pretty humbled about it really in a lot of ways, because it's been a blessing to me just throwing this thing together. I don't know. I'm just looking forward to the next year to see where it goes.
Oh yeah,
I really am. I think if we work at it, we can get some more listeners. That's what I'm hoping for. That's one of my main goals. Yes, sir.
I was gonna say another thing we've done this year is we have said don't call drones.
But so that's interesting too. Yeah, that's a good point.
Call them what they are. They are
RC copters,
quadcopters, whatever you want to call them. But the FAA, and since we got some airline people listening in, is going to start requiring anything over 0.55 pounds up to 55 pounds to be registered. They will receive a tail number, and I think for the first 30 days it's free. After that, it's $5. And I think it's pointless. It's stupid, because nobody's going to see what those tail numbers are if that person even puts them on their machine. So,
what gets me is the $5. I mean, it's only $5, but like
it's $5 now. It's $5 today. What's it going to be in the future? So we're going to spend some, $50-something million to make this program happen. And, for the kid that flies his quadcopter in his backyard for 12 minutes is going to have to do it to legally be able to fly.
My question is, I wonder how many people will actually do it, will actually register. I know, I
think people should protest to not do it.
The people that are in the chat room, that if they had a quadcopter, they would definitely do it. I would do it to be.
I wouldn't.
Rebel, but that's gonna be a problem trying to enforce it. I have a feeling.
It's just like. Okay.
But listen, I will say that it's needed, because one day one of these quadcopters is going to get sucked into a jet engine, and it's going to it could possibly hurt a lot of people.
And having that tail number on there is definitely going to identify who it was.
No, it's the fact.
Exactly.
It's the fact that you know what the rules are. Less than 400 feet.
Everybody knows.
Not within 5 miles of an airport.
I think everybody knows the rules.
But
just like everybody knows the rules of the road, the signs are displayed.
Ignorance is not an excuse for the law, Bruce.
Exactly.
Ignorance is not an excuse for the law.
That's what I'm saying.
But they're working on an app where, based on your location, it'll tell you how if you can legally operate your quadcopter.
And I would be fine with that.
They're working on
that seems more reasonable and will get more accomplished than getting somebody to pay $5. Now, if it's like, hey, give us $5 to help make this app happen, because it's going to take, $12 billion to make a website, because we had to do that for the, the Obamacare, and then it still didn't work. Sure, I can see charging $5 for that.
Okay.
I'm just saying. I know $12 billion isn't what it cost. It was like $1 billion for a website that didn't work.
Right. Yeah. Well. Anyway. Oh.
So if you get one for Christmas, and you're a good citizen like Guru, you can go register it.
Well,
but if you're like me, you'll say, yeah, whatever. This is my backyard.
I'll say this to sum it up. Miami Rick, who is a 777 pilot for a cargo company.
Yes.
He said basically it boils down to accountability. There needs to be accountability.
But what's putting a tail number on somebody's quadcopter? How's that going to hold anybody accountable? It's not.
Well, maybe we need to bring Miami Rick on as a guest to talk about this, since he is a airline pilot.
Absolutely.
We'll work on that.
We should have a conversation about this.
Yes, I agree.
Because to me, it's idiotic.
Idiotic?
Yes, it's not solving the issue. It's just like having a TSA. Like that, it's an illusion of security.
It's not an illusion of security when you got the dogs out. They had the dogs out at the airport when I was traveling a couple weeks ago.
Illusion.
Did they find? Well, he must have felt safer if they had the dogs out.
But they had that there before.
Yeah.
They had dogs there.
They
didn't make you take off your shoes and get scanned by a body scanner. That people that still wanted to pass through can still pass through.
Wow.
Even when they're told, hey, you're going to be tested today.
Well, all I got to say is I hope they're doing their job, because I don't fly very
I hope they
frequently,
are
but
too.
when I do fly, I want to be safe. So.
Well, sure, everybody wants that, right?
But I will not give up my liberties to be safe.
Well, I mean, there's no doubt there's a point to that. I mean, I think most reasonable people would not want to do that. But, at some point, I guess it goes back to there are some laws that you must have, and I know we're getting off tech here, but there are some laws that you must have that all citizens pretty much say, yeah, that's a good law. You shouldn't run a traffic light, and if you do, and something happens.
Yeah. But what is registering
Well, let me finish. I don't believe that registering any of these things, any of these products, are actually going to be the end fix. That may get a few people, but
accomplishes nothing.
I actually think it. Well, I don't know whether it'll accomplish nothing. I know it'll probably grab a large swath of people that were not going to be a problem anyway. I think what would probably be more likely is that someone would not register and their intended harm to start with. I mean, why would you register if you wanted to do harm? I agree with Bruce on one point to this. I'm not sure what this is going to accomplish. It may accomplish what they've set out to do, but I'm not sure what. I know what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah. I guess you're probably right there.
Yeah.
When am I ever wrong?
Oh, well, wait a minute now. Let's not get too far into that.
She is pretty good at guessing this week in tech history. We'll say that.
Yeah, we're going to cover some of those in the next hour.
Are we really?
Yeah.
Man, I have no idea what happened this week.
Well, no, I'm not talking.
What week are we talking about?
Oh no, I'm just going to look over some of the past ones in our next hour, and
Gotcha.
So we'll
we still got to do our predictions for 2016.
Yeah. Well,
predictions. Well, those are our rumors.
Yeah, right. Those are our rumors.
If not, we'll create them.
Yeah, right. Exactly right. So, well, everybody, I hope you'll stick with us and get ready for hour number
dose.
Hey Techies Show. Be right back.
You've listened this long, so stick around for Our Dose.
All right, there's the first hour.
All right, so give us just a few minutes here to get reset, and we'll get a few things going, and then we'll do it. Uh-oh, somebody's getting a phone call.
It's not me. I don't think.
It's not me either.
Must be Bruce. I guess. It's not my computer, is it?
It's not me.
Somebody was just getting a phone call, and it wasn't me.
It was not
That's weird.
It sounded like an alarm clock.
Yeah, it did sound like an alarm clock.
Oh, it's this online stopwatch I'm using.
Okay. See, it was Guru.
I had another. You should see You should see the screen.
Now, Guru has stuff everywhere. I know. Yeah.
I'm gonna take a picture. Hang on.
You might not want to show everybody. Well, look, those of you that are sticking around on the live stream, I'm so glad to have you in tonight. And
Bruce and Michael, this is an internal note, which we're broadcasting this, so it don't matter. But Miami Rick is game for an interview, so we need to look at our schedule for January and get him on in January. Michael.
Yeah, no problem.
Since you're the guest booking officer.
I'm the bookie, huh?
Yeah.
The official bookie.
Yeah.
Okay.
So well, from what I've seen from movies, just don't keep a log, and you're okay. It always keeps the log.
That's
what puts them in jail.
That's the one that gets in trouble. Or actually, I guess if they have the log, they have the book they can get out of trouble with.
Yeah,
they can say, "I'll turn this over for protection."
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, well, Guru, just let us know when you're reset.
So we're 54 minutes again, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Well, all right, folks.
And so what I want you to do is give me a 10-second countdown before you hit go.
Okay, I've got.
Ready to go.
Hang on.
He's still.
Technologic.
Uh-oh.
Technologic.
Hang on.
We'll have to start over.
Yeah, I hit the automated button on Radio DJ. So hang on.
We're good.
I got to cue that back up.
No problem. So anyway,
do you like my 10-second countdown? My life.
10.
10. Go.
What I want you to do is tell me 10. 10. Don't count it down. Just say go, and then give me 10 seconds.
Well, but we're gonna play the intro first, right?
Yeah, I know.
Are you gonna set a timer?
I'm doing it now.
Okay.
I'll tell you what. I know what I'll do. I'll tell you when to go.
Okay. Well, let me see if this is gonna work.
Technologic.
Hang on, I did it again.
Technologic.
Okay, hang on. Okay, I know what does it now. It's the turning it from assisted to automated.
Yes, that would start it.
Yes. Sorry, the folks in the chat room. I keep on screwing this up.
All right,
Please
so
forgive-
in
we-
in
we-
10, 9, 8, 7, everybody mute your mic. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
do it again. I'm sorry, because I think I've got it this time. I'm sorry.
What happened?
I hit the I changed it from assist to automated, and it didn't work. So
Okay, here we go.
I got it on automated. So
This is funny. This is live for sure. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Technologic.
Use it, break it, fix it, trash it, change it, melt, upgrade it, charge it, point it, zoom it, press it, snap it, work it, erase it, write it, cut it, paste it, save it, load it, check it, quick rewrite it, plug it, play it, burn it, rip it, drag it, drop it, zip and zip it, lock it, fill it, call it, find it, view it, code it, jump and lock it, surf it, scroll it, pose it, click it, cross it, crack it, switch, update it, name it, fit it, tune it, print it, scan it, send it, fax, rename it, touch it, bring it, pay it, watch it, turn it, leave it, stop, format it, touch it, bring it, pay it, watch it, leave it, leave it, stop.
Welcome back to the Hey Techies Show. So glad to have you in today. It might be night, it might be day. Where when this replays, it's probably going to be a daylight. But as of course we get closer to the winter season, and we're not too far around the corner here. It would be, I guess, December 21st, somewhere in there would be the shortest day of the year, I suppose. It's usually around that time, first day of winter. And
Absolutely.
wherever that finds you, I hope you are warm if it's cold outside, or you're cool if it's hot outside. So anyway, but of course, this is the Hey Techies Show, and we are normally on every Thursday night at 7 p.m. when we're not preempted. And this is all about technology. We cover all sorts of tech, and we're sort of doing a retrospective. If you missed the first hour, we've had this will be our 34th episode, and we've looked back a little bit at some of the different things that happened, and of course Guru will be wanting us to look forward at a few things, and we've talked a little bit about what may happen with some with cutting the cord. I think that's something that's going to progress over the next many years. And actually, I think to add to that, I think I'd be remiss, but add to that, I think that many of the now current cable operators, if you will, are going to push more along the lines of what maybe UVerse is doing. They're actually not going to be offering cables in the more traditional manners, or the TV is actually be over broadband. I think that's a possibility, that a lot of moves to that design. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I mean, obviously cable, I don't think that's going anywhere anytime soon. And I think they're making some of their money back up, where they might lose it to subscribers. I think we talked about this. To actually using it for broadband. They're actually taking some of those subscribers that probably have cut the cable to a point, and they're only doing streaming, but they're just doing it for broadband. Of course, and then Bruce would add to that, I would assume, that Bruce would add to this, and they're offering some of these services, that preferred services, at not counting on your broadband usage. So how will that?
Right now, I'm working on my application to be an astronaut.
Oh boy. Well, we won't get Bruce back tonight.
Yeah, you will.
Anyway, we'll have to say something that makes him angry. I'll use the V, and it's not for vendetta. I'll use the V word, and it'll be something totally different that I guess really he's probably washed his hands of for the most part, because he's now Project Phi, as we had talked about, and
yes,
of course we'll be interested to see how that progresses over the next year.
Yeah,
how he ends up liking. liking it
Well,
or disliking it.
we shall see. So far,
Um,
not too bad.
And maybe we'll find out one day when Micah decides to find a smartphone that will fit his life. He can tell us what that will be. So, our main man Micah from Maine.
That was the whole point of the name.
Yeah, I know. I was just adding it in twice. I thought it'd sound more professional.
Are you sure?
Maine.
Are you sure he's from Maine? You sure about that?
I'm not actually. I've never met him. We can only assume that he is telling the truth, because everything on the internet is not necessarily true. And we had a show about that, about what you could, being careful on the internet. Now that I look back, we covered that about being what not to do, while possibly you could get in trouble on the internet, especially get junk on your computer. I think we've covered that before. We've covered a host of topics, more than that we could retrospect and look back here.
You can
Put you on.
retrospect and listen to the last 33 episodes.
Yeah, that's true. You could catch up on all the Hey Techies Show.
You could totally binge listen.
That's
Or
right.
binge watch.
That's right. Binge watch and binge listen, I guess. Yeah, I think we only have a first couple of episodes that had no video to them.
Yeah.
But it wasn't too long into the show that we decided, hey, Guru said, hey, let's just put a YouTube up and do there. It's just expanded. And of course, that's part of the reason why we're known as the group the show that's making all the money. Because we bring if everybody could just watch one night of us setting up in 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's quite.
I don't even know. I think it's 5 minutes.
It's not quite five.
If you count the 5 minutes that we go in there while three guys talking sports,
Correct.
It's a break to set up the camera.
Right. We do that ahead. That we did work that out, so that has been helpful. If we ever lose that show before, we'll have to work out a deal with the next one.
Yeah.
Whomever that might be.
No, we won't be working out a deal. We'll just be like, hey, you're on our turf.
Yeah, this is the deal we have.
This is a money maker of the station.
Right. It's 0 plus 0.
We're the reason why you're here. So just be thankful.
So Guru, what's some of your predictions? Just off the top of your head. Yeah, we don't have to look them up. Well, what kind of things are you expecting to see?
You're gonna see, I think, mobile computing, like smartphones and stuff, is gonna get even more and more. I mean, there's already rumors of another Apple Watch, so wearables is gonna be, it's going to continue growing traction in the next year. I think maybe. I thought I had.
I don't know. Who knows? Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe, kind of, sort of. I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, it's just so hard to predict what's going to happen. There's going to be technology, and there's going to be people that's going to be
technology.
And folks are going to buy it.
And those that are going to hate it.
Yeah, those that are going to hate it. People are going to hate Apple. People are going to hate Microsoft. People are going to hate everything or hate nothing.
Well, I've got a prediction that I'm curious about seeing in the next year. I'm curious to see if Bruce gets up the gumption to ask his girl to be on the show.
I don't think my wife would ever be on the show.
Easy now. We can go back and dig up the actual shows where you say "my girl."
Girl Taylor Swift.
Yeah,
you're listening to Taylor. And you want to be on the show. Which, that's one thing. You did an incredible accomplishment this year by taking on Apple.
Oh, hey, speaking of that, did you know that she's good now? They're turning around. They're going to give her some exclusives. They're going to give her some. Apple's giving her some exclusives.
Looking at you, Taylor.
You get out of the. Please get out of the camera. It's disturbing.
Somebody make this go viral.
Yeah, right.
And she'll get it, and she'll be like, I definitely have to go on that nerd show.
Yeah.
I guess that's how we'll know we've arrived, is when we are when Taylor Swift is our guest.
Sure, Taylor's our guest.
We only thought we'd arrived when James Spann was on our show. And those of you who live
I want her
in this
here
part
live,
of the state know James
I don't
Spann's
want her
like
on the
legend.
phone. I want her here live.
Yeah, I don't think that's happening.
That ain't gonna happen.
But nice try.
Why not?
I didn't say it ain't. I said I don't think that would happen. Now that would be something else. That's for sure.
Hey, housing should totally get her to come to a
Yeah,
concert.
yeah, it's like $1 million, buddy.
I'm just saying, it could happen.
Yeah, probably two. Probably two. Well, anyway, I'm interested in how technology is going to change sports over the next several years. I know, and even sports watching, there's some discussion I think we had a few weeks ago about there was a report put out about how that many consumers feel like that the cell phone or smartphone is seeing its last days, that it may be, and the further I got to read a little bit more into that, and what I think they're really referring to and talking about is the Internet of Things, that you'll be able to ask your product, say if it'll all be connected and listening. And one example is giving you be able to ask your toaster, hey, text so and so what I need, instead of having to rely on a product around you all the time. But I still think I'm not.
You need an interface device. You need something to interface with.
I'm not sold on that. I'm just telling you that was what and talking walls. I also saw this recently.
Talking walls?
Yes, a wall that could interact with you, and you could put anything up on it, like a display board. But what I'm getting about talking wall, what I meant is that you could interact with it. I really shouldn't use the word talking, but interaction with it, where you could say, I want this show up on this wall. It's be like a visual board for a wall. And then, of course, you have the lenses, all the different lenses, and we talked about HoloLens, and then of course we still have the Oculus Rift. You've got the Oculus Rift set, and then Samsung they have a set of
so does HTC.
Glasses. So HTC. So all these are going to be vying for this this small niche at now, but the question will be, will it be a large niche? Google tried to do the Google Glass. I think that was probably unsuccessful for many reasons. To me, it's odd. It's odd to be walking around with that. I just don't know if we're I don't know if we're ready as a society for that. I don't know. What do y'all think about that? You think that we're going to see wearables like that in the coming, say?
See, I wouldn't say. I mean, I think a lot of that's going to be saved for the private space, like with the HoloLens and Oculus Rift, stuff like that. But I think next year, I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say next year is going to be the year of AI.
Well, that was part of this discussion of that article I was talking about. Is that's what they were considering AI, your house more smart, more able to interact with you, the products in there.
Well, I mean, I think we're really going to see, because I think we're going to see it take over in the manufacturing. I think a lot of jobs are going to be lost due to artificial intelligence. I think that it's going to grow. It's going to become so smart over the next year, and it's not just going to be to make our lives simpler, but it's going to be to completely take over things that we would possibly normally do.
Like for instance, a robot arm fixing a hamburger. I saw that. There was a story about a robot they were testing to build a hamburger. You could build so many in a minute.
Yeah,
it was a bunch.
And I mean, I think yes on part of that, and then also just kind of, I don't want to say the services industry per se, but with a lot of your
industrial.
Well, I'm gonna say, I don't know if this will happen, but say like whenever you call tech support or something, I think a lot of that could possibly be completely replaced by AI, because they're going to be able to simulate that, so it can learn. They'll be able to do virtual simulations of that, so it can.
You can. It's easy to say for a recording, say, did you turn it off and back on again?
Yeah, that's true. but I think a lot of that could be replaced, or at least you could consolidate how many uh, people you have on the phone for troubleshooting. But then, like you said, as far as with flipping a burger, but I think with just manufacturing in general, I think Adidas next year is going to make one of their shoe lines is going to be completely made by robots from beginning to end. So I think 2016 you're going to see. I don't want to say just AI or just robots or a
Right.
combination of. But definitely, it's going to be the year of AI. I think. If not, it will be the introduction to the years to come of AI. Not, it's going to be a big breakthrough year.
Not just AI, but just automation in general, right?
Yes, and automation. I think you're going to see.
I agree. I can agree with you there because not trying to stop, not trying to interrupt you, but
Yeah, you're
like there's this big void now of STEM jobs in America. And that was like the hour of code we talked about a few weeks ago, where they're
Yeah.
trying to get people excited about computer science and engineering fields. The stuff we've covered with robotics, it's trying to get people excited about engineering. So, for those of you who are in college or not in college yet listening, there you go. There's a
Oh yeah.
that's a good career field
I
because
think.
and the jobs are going to shift from manufacturing to this other to more I
Oh
guess you
yeah.
call it white collar jobs where it's going to take some education and some training and experience.
I think another thing we're going to see is I think we're going to have a war heating up over ISPs. I'll finish this up and then we can go. But I think you're going to see, Google's really expanding and they're actually expanding in markets. And I think you're going to see a lot of what is now their competition. They're going to try and up their game. So we'll talk more about that when we come back. Stay with us. Hey Techies Show.
Don't have a kernel panic. Hey Techies will be right back.
Gamecock Outfitters, located on the square at 109 Ladiga Street in Jacksonville, provides customers with outdoor apparel and gear. Gamecock Outfitters is able to help you find exactly what you need for every outdoor adventure. Gamecock Outfitters is open Tuesday through Friday from 10 o'clock to 5:30 and Saturday from 10 o'clock to 5 o'clock. For additional information, contact them at 256-435-2008 or check out their website at GadsdenOutfitters.com.
Stress of Jacksonville has been serving the Jacksonville community for over a decade. They are located at 500 Forney Avenue, right next to the cockpit. Strutt serves wings, beer, and more. Their business hours are Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m., and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. To place a to-go order, please call 256-782-0106. For more information, go to struttswings.com.
Looking to cure that sweet tooth of yours? Mad Hatter Cupcake Shop is now proudly serving the Jacksonville area at their new location at 16 Public Square on the Square. Mad Hatter is open Tuesday through Saturday from 11 to 9 p.m. and they are closed on Sunday and Monday. For additional information, be sure to check out their Facebook page, www.facebook.com/MadHatCupcakes, and their website, www.madhatcakes.com.
Jacksonville Tan is a proud patron of WLJS, serving Jacksonville and surrounding areas since 1987. At their location at 115 Francis Street East, next to Walgreens. Jacksonville Tan knows a thing or two about healthy glow, offering 16 tanning beds and virtually no wait times. A great tan is never out of the question. For more info, call them at 256-435-1770.
Jacksonville Bookstore offers supplies for school all throughout the year. From books to binders, pencils to scantrons, Jacksonville Bookstore has it all. They are open Monday through Saturday with convenient hours and location on 302 Mountain Street Northwest in Jacksonville. To find out more, like them on Facebook or call 256-435-7407. Jacksonville Bookstore, a proud patron of WLJS.
Welcome back to the Hey Techies Show. I hope all of you will have a wonderful Christmas.
Another great Christmas song, Joy to the World.
That's right.
Reliant K did it better.
Bruce.
You had to knew that. You had to know that was coming, Guru.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I mixed it up a little bit tonight since I built the playlist.
No, it's great. I really appreciate you taking that on. Hey, Guru, I was looking over, as I said earlier in the show, I was looking over some of our This Week in Tech History episodes. And, I don't have the first one on me. This was one of the first.
Let me see if I can pull it up.
Well,
this was
an episode of 05. We didn't actually have the first few episodes in our notes. I didn't find them.
Yeah, we didn't go all the way back.
But you had, this would have been June 4th, 1977.
Oh.
Yes, June 4th, 1977.
Now, do I have to guess these now?
Yes, you do.
Well, this goes back to something we actually talked about recently. The VHS video cassette format is introduced as VidStar in North America. That was a good one. It's pretty interesting. Yeah. And of course, as most people know, and Bruce could tell you, VHS won out instead of other formats that were probably better at the time, and for obvious reasons that most people follow that know.
You say that, and I was just sitting there thinking that before you brought up who won out. But I would say maybe Beta won because it's still being used.
Well, it is. That's true. And in the professional market, I mean, there was really two markets. There was the professional market, which are always going to be that, and there was the consumer market because it being lower grade, a little less cheaper to manufacture. The product. I mean, a VCR. Of course, we're talking. So we're boring people now with VCR discussions. I know. The only VCR tape that most people would probably even encounter anymore is the one that their wife pulls out and says, "Hey, let's watch this. This is our wedding." Or their maid or whatever pulls out. This is our wedding, and so. If you're a wife and your husband is pulling it out, that's what I was pointing out. So. If you're listening to this on radio, which we're glad of, by the way, Bruce has given me all sorts of weird looks when I discuss these things, as he usually does when we're in studio, but we're not in studio. And
talking about VCRs, Micah in the chat room is saying that he has 3 VCRs all in perfect shape. Anybody need one?
Yeah.
I think there's a VCR in the radio station.
Oh yeah, I'm sure there is.
I saw it on top of one of those racks the other day. But
how about this one, Guru? July 16th, 1969, which is a little more than 46 years ago.
That was Apollo. I was about to say
Apollo 11.
Okay.
Is launched from Cape Kennedy, Florida.
That's right.
Also, one day Bruce could become an astronaut.
That's even good.
July 11th, 2020, maybe. Bruce goes to space.
2020.
Right, that'd be pretty
I
sweet.
just threw a number out there. I mean, that's only 4 years away. Anything's possible.
Sure, anything's possible. Yes. Let's see if I can find a few more here before we cut to something else. What about? I don't see one for that night. How did we miss? Let's see. We missed. I think that we did. We missed one. Apparently,
that may have been a week he was out.
I could have been. Maybe he wasn't here that week,
But he usually did it.
But he usually puts it in. Oh, here's a good one. Here's one. July 27th, 1981. July 27th. That was a good week. That was my birthday week, as a matter of fact. In 1981. IBM begins shipping the first IBM PC, but Microsoft buys the full rights to the operating system, 86-DOS.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You got anyone that sticks out in your mind, Guru, that...
probably the aviation ones, and I can't think of one right offhand. Oh, I do know one. There, it was back in November when the. Hang on, I'm trying to look through our website. It was November 26th show. I don't know why I remember this. November 26th, 2003. 12 years ago. Well, 12 years ago that week. It was when the Concorde first
Oh,
flew.
yes, that's right. The
It was
Concorde
it's
first flew.
the first and so far only supersonic passenger jetliner. Which there's word out there that apparently they're
Bringing it
working on
back.
They're bringing back not the Concorde necessarily. There's somebody's trying to bring a Concorde back, trying to buy all the parts and restore it to where it'll actually operate. But
I don't know if I want to fly on one that's
apparently there's a company there's a company trying to build another supersonic passenger jetliner. But anyway, the Concorde is pretty cool. I actually saw one when I was at the USS Intrepid in New York City. They had one on display. British Airways Concorde.
Yeah. Well, anyway, in case you're a new listener, every week we try to cover a historical event that happened in tech, and Guru finds some pretty neat ones. And of course, Bruce, as you may know, our professor, he puts his professor hat on and tries to guess, and gets close, if not on the dot, for a good many of them. Has missed a few here and there.
Some I've missed completely.
Some he has. Guru's gotten smarter and has tried to be a little more trickier. Has stayed away from some of the Apple stuff that Bruce automatically assumes he's going to throw in there. I think Bruce is going to have to change his strategy going on forward over these next year. And so just to give a little bit of an update on next year, in case you're listening. The next few months, particularly January and February, we will probably have a lot of just online shows, and that's something that we as a show are going to have to work through, because our Thursday night appointment time will be preempted quite a bit. That's a popular basketball night. And the way it's situated, and of course baseball, we'll do some of that, and softball. So we'll have these issues over the next few months, but it's just a programming note that don't worry, we're not going anywhere. We'll figure out ways to talk to you, and so I tell you, I really hope, that's my plan, to get more involvement over the next year. When we're in the studio, I want us to almost have too many calls. That's my hope, and I really think we can get there. If you want to talk about things I hope for in the coming future, that's what I really hope is one of the things that we progress to do, and it's on my radar. So I really think we can do it. And I know for a fact that we can help people with tech issues. We've helped many already. Decide some ideas, maybe some purchases, maybe kind of just put them over the edge if they're deciding on this or deciding on that. So I think that our differing in experiences is made that something valuable that people can look to and get an opinion. And I know we don't use all the products we'd like to. Sure, we'd like to have one flying in here every week to try out, and we'll see how that goes. You never know. I think starting off, we would have never thought we'd gotten some of the guests we have. It blew my mind in many ways. So
never thought we'd get guests.
Yeah, see, never thought we'd get guests. Of course, my whole intention from the start was to have some guests. That was one of the big things on my radar, my heart, that I would like to have guests. I've always wanted to interview some of the people we've been able to interview. I mean, not particularly just a person's name, but just in their field. It'd be interesting, like you were talking about, Guru, to interview someone in the airline field. I have some people who in my family who do fly and are pilots, and I don't get to speak to them very much, but it's always interesting to learn from someone who actually does that, whatever that is. I always like getting those perspectives, and we've done that, and we're going to continue to do that. So if you enjoy things like that, you need to stay tuned to the Hey Techies Show. And of course, Bruce at some point will take the show back over. He does. See what? He's very good at that. Yes. He comes up with subjects. So Bruce, What subject did you looking back? What did you really enjoy discussing? We've had a lot of great topics, but what was one that stands out to you?
Oh man. Well, I know it seemed like, and we discussed it in the previous hour, the OPM hack. I mean, it seemed like there for a couple, maybe even a few months. It seemed like every week there was something in the news. Like it couldn't get any worse. Guess what? It just got worse. So
Yes.
yeah. And it was almost like beating a dead horse. I mean, we just kind of had to move on.
It was almost like the movie Groundhog Day. It's like are you
Yeah.
serious? There's more
Yeah.
people. The number kept on growing.
22 million current and former federal employees. And
And I know several of them because here where we live, there is a major Army base that has several thousand employees, plus another Army base that closed in the 90s. So there's a lot of people that we know that are affected.
Oh yeah. I just haven't had anybody.
People in my family, friends and classmates from high school that I've talked to. And
Oh, so they said that they had received a notification?
Yeah. I talked to one of my former classmates that works out there.
well, how many months were they getting? 17 months? 18 months?
After the 18 months is over, then that's when they'll get hacked.
Yeah.
I hope not. Maybe they'll be able to change enough information.
And we thought the Target credit card hack was a big deal, and that's nothing in comparison to what they got.
And mentioning that, we have let me restate that we have talked about security quite a bit. We have tried to devote what I thought was a good portion of many of our episodes to security features because I think it's very important. And Bruce has firsthand experience a lot of ways. He's yes, you do. You that's one of your things is security. You've studied it. You've done some education, some formal education in that area. You even have, I think, some certs in security. So those are very important, and people should know that when they're asking you a question, networking security, that you have some background in that. It's very important. I think it is, and I appreciate it very much. But when we're talking about some of these hacks, these things, it should not go without being noted that many of these hacks happened with things that were not very difficult to do. Speaking of the Target hack, that happened to be where a actual system should not have been on the main system. Their air conditioning system, they got it through a back door because somebody gave away a password. They shouldn't have been there. It should not have been accessible. These systems are separate, should be always separated, and that has brought up another discussion that we've all talked about about airplanes and about their in-flight systems being able to. Bruce pointed out being able to hack into their in-flight system, and that actually happened. Of course, the man was arrested.
Well, I think there's still a lot in the air. Did he really, or is he just blowing smoke?
That may be true.
Because here's the thing:
you
turn the chemtrails off.
Because with that, I don't want to go off on a tangent here, but I have to find the episodes. But Airline Pilot Guy, one of my podcasts I listen to, they talked about this, and some of these aircraft, when the aircraft were designed and built, in-flight entertainment didn't exist, so they're like it's been added on after the fact. So there's no way the systems are physically connected now. Some of the newer ones, like the 787 Dreamliner, that could possibly happen because they probably share the same physical network to save on weight. And I'm not an expert at all that, but maybe that's something when we have Miami Rick on here in a few weeks, we can kind of mention that.
Well, I think you certainly have a good point. There's no question
that's a security issue, just like sneaking something on through TSA.
Right.
Physically.
No question. So. Yeah. But I agree with you. It seemed far fetched at the time that someone could really do that. But here again, I think that to rule it out from the standpoint of security, that's a big mistake. You almost can't rule out anything. You've got to try to keep an open mind about looking at security, especially that we work at a university. If you don't know that, and that's our day jobs. And security is a big part of what we do. we are always conscious about not giving over that piece of information. Not that we would, but try to teach people, don't give over that piece of information that would eventually allow someone to compromise further than your environment. Anyone who has access to serious data should be very, very careful about how they definitely surf the net, for one. That's a first no-no. I've talked about this before. I haven't coined it per se, but I use the term opportunity surfing. It may not be the total correct term, but I use it quite a bit. It just, and I understand the fun in it. I'm not saying that, but you got to be careful. If you're going to do this at home or another product, fine. You're probably not going to hurt anybody but yourself. But if you're doing something, well, my point is you're going to damage your own equipment. You're likely not going to give away work secrets or what have you. So, anyway, I guess that's about all I got for that.
Sounds good.
That's all I got to say on that.
That's all I got to say about that.
That's right.
Good Forrest Gump impression.
Well, we'll have about 16 minutes or so when we get back to finish up this year-end show. So hang with us. We'll be right back.
If you missed it live, then catch the Hey Techies Rewind, Sundays at noon.
Looking to cure that sweet tooth of yours? Mad Hatter Cupcake Shop is now proudly serving the Jacksonville area at their new location at 16 Public Square on the Square. Mad Hatter is open Tuesday through Saturday from 11 to 9 p.m. and they are closed on Sunday and Monday. For additional information, be sure to check out their Facebook page, www.facebook.com/MadHatCupcakes, and their website, www.madhatcakes.com.
Gamecock Outfitters, located on the square at 109 Ladiga Street in Jacksonville, provides customers with outdoor apparel and gear. Gamecock Outfitters is able to help you find exactly what you need for every outdoor adventure. Gamecock Outfitters is open Tuesday through Friday from 10 o'clock to 5:30 and Saturday from 10 o'clock to 5 o'clock. For additional information, contact them at 256-435-2008 or check out their website at GadsdenOutfitters.com.
Jacksonville Bookstore offers supplies for school all throughout the year. From books to binders, pencils to scantrons, Jacksonville Bookstore has it all. They are open Monday through Saturday with convenient hours and location on 302 Mountain Street Northwest in Jacksonville. To find out more, like them on Facebook or call 256-435-7407. Jacksonville Bookstore, a proud patron of WLJS.
Jacksonville Tan is a proud patron of WLJS, serving Jacksonville and surrounding areas since 1987. At their location at 115 Francis Street East, next to Walgreens. Jacksonville Tan knows a thing or two about healthy glow, offering 16 tanning beds and virtually no wait times. A great tan is never out of the question. For more info, call them at 256-435-1770.
Stress of Jacksonville has been serving the Jacksonville community for over a decade. They are located at 500 Forney Avenue, right next to the cockpit. Strutt serves wings, beer, and more. Their business hours are Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m., and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. To place a to-go order, please call 256-782-0106. For more information, go to struttswings.com.
On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a partridge in a pear tree. On the second day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 2 turtle doves and a partridge in a pear tree. On the third day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 3 grand checks, 2 turtle doves and a partridge in a pear tree.
Welcome back to the Hey Techies Show. Yeah, I tell you what, I hope this show doesn't get tagged by YouTube.
I know. Hopefully not.
It won't.
Oh,
Reliant K's good people.
yeah. Speaking of that,
I thought you'd like that, Bruce. I threw a Reliant can at the end.
speaking of that,
Thank you.
this this wonderful hour of Hey Techies Show has about 15 minutes left. So what I thought I might do
What you gonna do?
is I might throw a few things out here and let you and Guru decide whether you think it's going to make it.
Make it or break it.
Make it or break it.
Yeah.
I like
So
it. Let's do it.
so, and if you come up with something off the bat, so Apple Music. What do you think about the?
Break. Not gonna happen. I don't know. I think it's gonna be mediocre.
I think it's going. Apple's going to drag it out way too long, way too longer than it should, because I think that market is just way too crowded already, and Apple just wants a piece of the action, and they're too little, too late, in my opinion.
Okay, sticking with Apple Watch. How many are they stuck with the Apple Watch, or how many iterations?
Well,
you'll have another one this year, obviously, I think, and this next generation will be better. I think Apple Watch is here to stay.
They're going to have to break into the female market. If they do that, they do it well, which I think they kind of started to. It was just a little too pricey with the rose gold. If they can get the women, then it's here.
What happens to HTC going forward? I mean, do you think they're viable, or do you think are they? I guess what I'm asking is Huawei and these others. Huawei is wanting to bring some more products to the United States. There's just a news article recently. Does Huawei scare people away from HTC?
I think that's a possibility. I definitely think that's a possibility. Because Huawei just, I don't know how much capital they have, but they're in a lot more market. Well, they're in a lot more different types of devices than HTC. So they've got a lot of irons in the fire, and they all perform really well. So I love HTC.
I know, that's why I asked the question. I knew this would be a killer.
But they're going to have to come out with something major. They're gone.
What do you think, Guru? Any idea on that?
See, I don't follow the Android
Right.
handset market. I know the Huawei stuff; they're new to the game. But let me finish. HTC, you can't count them out. I don't think you can count them out. They were one of the early Android handsets.
Yeah. Speaking of Android, of course, we all can agree Android's going nowhere. Meaning it's going to go somewhere. Actually, I should have rephrased that. I think it's only going to get bigger.
But it's not going away.
I don't think it's going to go away anytime soon. The question is now, going forward, we'll use the term. I've forgotten the term. I apologize, guys. So Verizon, AT&T, Sprint. We'll use Sprint. Do they give over to the?
Let Google do
hold on.
updates.
Yeah. Do they give over to Google pushing out their own updates?
I don't think Verizon will take that to their grave.
Providers. That was the word I was searching for.
If Verizon can control it, then no. Verizon will.
But they have had to give in to Apple.
Because
Apple controls the hardware.
Well, yeah, but Apple also was exclusive to AT&T to begin with.
That's true.
And so they kind of had, they had more, they had a better hand on their side. They called Verizon's bluff. It was just like, no, we can just leave you out of this, and then your people will fade away, and they'll come to AT&T. So Verizon did what they had to do to get the phone. Therefore, to get the customers.
Yeah, I can see that. I wonder if somebody like Sprint would be more hands off, or they're for that.
Well, I mean, and part of that's the curse of Android. Is
correct. So many manufacturers.
Well, there's so many manufacturers, and it allows for the providers to have a hand in that. I mean, that's part of it, just being open source.
Just like Windows being able to run on so many different platforms, so many different, if you will, just systems in general. What about speaking of that? What about streaming services? Do you see any that out there that? What about Hulu? Do you see Hulu as a continued success?
Yes, I think Hulu's going to be continued success, and I think part of that will come uh, through stuff like Amazon. I think you're going to see a lot of these start to pull together or be available.
Right.
You can pick and choose certain ones and kind of create your own package to be able to get those that you need. But again, like we talked about this before, you're $10 in here and $10 in there, and it's going to add up quick, and it's going to be like, why did I get away from TV?
Yeah. I wished I had an airline guy on. I just thought of something about. I wonder what the consolidation over the next year for airlines will be, if any. I mean,
Well,
are they about done? How close can
we
they?
just had the United Continental. Well, United Continental merged a year or two ago. But now American and U.S. Airways merged. So now you're left with your big ones in U.S. American, Delta. Somebody help me out here on the chat room. They'll take about 30 seconds for them to catch up. Of course, Southwest is big because they bought AirTran.
Okay.
Mike is saying nothing left to merge. I think he's right. All the players out there are huge right now. But one thing I think it's going to be, there's going to be more and more pressure. I think because right now the airlines are making money. They're making money
Sure.
hand over fist right now. Fuel prices are low, and they're making cash, and there's going to be pressure to who's going to be the race to the bottom in terms of fares.
Yeah. Okay, Bruce.
Yeah, Andrew in our chat room.
What's that?
And not the Andrew we know. It's a
Yeah, that's
different
okay.
Andrew.
Yeah.
The Frontier and Spirit, those two smaller airlines may merge, and you have a couple of the small ones. But one thing that I was about to say about is you have a lot of these like regional airlines, but they're branded like Delta Connection or American Eagle, but they're like smaller planes, but they're operated under contract by smaller companies. And one thing in the airline industry is they're having trouble getting pilots to work for the salary, especially at these smaller. And that's something probably Miami Rick or Jeff could talk about better from the airline.
Yeah, I was just curious about
Yeah.
airlines.
But the problem is they're going to keep on nickel and diming us passengers for more and more fees and getting more and more strict. I mean,
Well, they've already talked about passing a law to not charge a fee to use a restroom.
I call foul on that. They're not. I don't know if they haven't doing that yet.
Well, that's what they're saying, that they're going to pass a law so they can't.
Well, that'd be a good thing because
Well, I would say I'm fine. I won't pay the fee.
I will say this. This is not a U.S. airline, but
there's a company there to sell new products to help you get through the flight.
Andrew beat me to the punch on here because y'all. I keep on getting interrupted, but anyway, watch Ryanair. They're out of Europe. They're I forget what country, but anyway, they're not a U.S. airline, but they are. Look at their fees, and that's one thing the U.S. as Congress is trying to do stopgap before these big boys over here, start doing that. So.
Okay, so Samsung Gear or any of the Samsung watches, you think that's going to? Where are we at on that? You think this is going to finally flop? Smart watches in general, or?
I mean, as long as they're making money, they're going to continue doing it. Yeah. Even if it's $10. I mean.
Yeah. Well, that's another question. How far can they get down? Can they go much lower? I mean, can they?
I don't think they'll go much lower. I mean, I think they'll, without shedding off certain features.
Right.
But I mean, I think the price point for that's going to be $250 to $300. Is going to be your entry.
Right.
Price point for that type of product.
And I will say this because the Apple Watch is in my opinion way overpriced, and they've got to figure out how to bring that price down for them to really get some penetration, because I will give you a preview to my review, and you can go back to a previous episode, which is kind of confusing. But anyway, I would not pay full price for an Apple Watch. I'm sorry, it's not worth it to me. So
Yeah.
Boom.
take it for what it's worth. Everybody's different.
Well, I've actually seen a few people who will go with more popular, obviously, than we are, or they're more nationally known. They wore an Apple Watch for a while, and then the next few episodes you see them, they didn't have one on. I mean, they also basically said it was a novelty for many purposes. I mean, I don't know.
Hey, I like my Apple Watch. It has some utility, but not $400 worth of utility.
Yeah, that's the question, and we've talked about that. We discussed this many times. Even when it came out, we first talked about that. Okay, so we'll get down to the nitty gritty here. Obviously, Microsoft isn't going anywhere as far as they're not leaving us, but Windows 10 does that flop over the next? Do they have to regroup and figure something else out?
Well, it may be their last OS.
They keep saying that. They keep saying that.
Hopefully, it's not prophetic. But yeah, they're gonna have to do something. I mean, it's not. I won't say it's super terrible. I mean, it's definitely better than 8. But with all the telemetric stuff that they're getting, just the spying on you and the forcing, they're going to have to change their business practices, definitely.
Windows Phone.
It's gone.
Yeah. It's
gone.
Sorry, Andrew. Not
you don't think you don't think it can be salvaged at all with being able to have a PC on your device?
Market share is not there for them. If they don't gain, it's gone, and I don't see them gaining it. Yeah. Even with that, I think it's probably an awesome phone. I mean, what they showed, it was sweet. But I'm sorry, the laptops suck.
Yeah,
they're horrible. It's too busy. It's way too busy.
That as the more I use Windows 10, the less I like it, really, in a lot of ways. And one is I don't use the start menu at all anymore. I found myself to just totally figure out how to ignore it totally. Even with the Windows, it's just so hokey to me. A lot of the icon now, I know this is superficial, I guess I should say, for me, but it's hokey. I know I keep using the word, but it seems romper roomish, and I stole that word from someone else. But it just seems, I don't know, preschool. As far as graphics, it just doesn't seem like to me, a Mac, and I know we discussed this a lot over the past year, I still think their OS is elegant. You may not like everything about it, and it may not be your OS, but a lot of what they have in it, and I use both. I like to pride myself on using Linux too. It just seems to me that they still have the elegant aspect of an OS. The way it works seamlessly through a lot of things. Yeah, it's probably less open, more sandbox, those type things. I don't know. I'm just torn. I'm a big Windows guy. I don't see myself going away from that for a lot of reasons. I still like it and prefer it in a lot of areas, mainly due because of my work. If I was really just a consumer that didn't have to deal with work stuff, probably wouldn't be a big deal. Well, look, we got about a minute left here, guys, before we have to wind this thing down. And I just want to say I really appreciate both of you.
Well, thank you. Appreciate you.
You guys. I certainly wouldn't do this alone and wouldn't even think about it. So
you have.
I know, but
yes, you did.
Not until I had the support behind me to do so. So, but we got 30 seconds here, so.
Well, Guru, we definitely appreciate you. I mean, y'all don't realize how much he does. It's very difficult to do this show without him. So I think it was great that you asked to be on the show, and I mean, it was perfect. So we really appreciate you, Guru.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
See everybody next year. Have a good night.
Happy New Year!
The Hey Techies Show is produced by Mike Stedham and co-produced by The Guru. Station manager is Billy Dunn. Join us again next time for another exciting installment of The Hey Techies Show. It's going to be great, maybe.
And that is it.
All right, guys.
Nice.
Well, Guru, you can bring that to me tomorrow, right?
Well, you want me to upload it?
Yeah, you could do that.
I
guess
can
you
upload it here in a few
Yeah,
minutes.
that'll work. That'll work. Yeah.
I'll stick
That's
it out
fine.
in the usual spot.
That's fine. Yeah.
Hooray for Guru Chris. Thank you, Micah. I appreciate that. What Linux distro does Michael like? Which one do you like, Michael?
Linux Mint.
Linux
I like
Mint.
Linux Mint, but I could use Fedora as well. I don't know. I like Linux. I used to use Ubuntu for a while, and then Ubuntu got with Unity, and I'm not a big Unity fan much. I think, but it has its place. If you're wanting simplistic, so to speak, not have to do a lot, I think sort of just set, ready to go. You're sort of a surfer. I think Unity is a good platform on Ubuntu. Obviously, Ubuntu is still prideful in their server system security. They still are pushing that. I do occasionally go week to week. I visit distrowatch.com. That's a great place to find out what distros are coming out, what's headed next, where things may be going. You can see a list of all the distros there usually. Linux Mint for quite some time has been the big hit. It's had high hits. It's mostly led the chart for months and months. And it really started making its climb when Ubuntu several years ago went to Unity as its desktop platform. Because a lot of people decided, hey, you've taken a lot of my, it looked more like they took a lot of the choice away. You really couldn't have, it was sort of just, it was what it was. A lot of the menus are really prefabbed, so to speak. You can't, the desktop sort of, it's almost like sort of what Windows has done in a way. They pretty much turned it upside down, and a lot of people have gone to other things like Fedora and a lot of, Red Hat, of course. So at an early time, I fooled with Red Hat when you could download it for no cost to you. Now you can't. I mean, you've got to really pay to get a full copy of Red Hat. You can still use Fedora. Now that's the offshoot of Red Hat. That's more of their free project line. Of course, Debian, and I think some people say it differently. Debian, I've heard it.
Debian,
said.
yeah.
I've heard it said. I may pronounce it. I think it's pronounced several different ways.
What about Red Hat? What do you think about Red Hat?
Well, it's great.
I know
It's
great.
great.
We use in the enterprise.
Yeah, I think. Well, I'm not an expert in this, so I want to put that as an offshoot.
Yeah,
I'm in no way an expert.
I'm not a systems person where I work, but I know.
And I would say Red Hat is a great product if you're wanting to use it for enterprise systems. I'm sure the guys that do that would swear by it. The problem would be is you're going to have to be an enterprise to really, I think, afford it. I don't know why as an individual you'd want to fool Red Hat anymore. Like I said, if you wanted to do that, you would stick with a Fedora project.
Yeah.
That would be more along the lines of the Red Hat fork, as it were.
Red Hat fork.
Yeah, but I think most people should try, if they want to get their hands dirty. My suggestion is Linux Mint Live. You can get a live disk. You can put it on USB. That's what I do, and boot to it. It's fun to play with.
Yeah, Micah's saying he keeps a copy of Ubuntu, Zorin, and Talus on USB drives for emergency.
Zorin, definitely for rescue. You can use those to rescue pretty much anything. The one thing I will say about Ubuntu, at least the last few versions, they turned off the ability to dev into and copy and write to the hard drive that's internal to the system. And without doing some little things to it, and I'm sure some people have done that. But the other thing is Linux Mint still has that on by default. It's dangerous. You have to be careful.
Yeah.
You don't want to screw with that too much. But I have been able to salvage people's files when Windows would not read that disk.
Have you looked at using Puppy for that?
Huh?
Puppy Linux? Have you used Puppy Linux?
Puppy Linux is a great one, and
That's what I
Slacks.
usually use.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Puppy
Slacks to recover
Those, I
stuff.
think we've discussed those before. Those are both very good to do those type things that Bruce is talking about. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think I asked if they had more questions for us. This is kind of the after the show.
After the show.
Yeah, I stole I stole that term from Fox News.
Yes.
And it will rot your brain, according to one of our.
Yes.
Anyway,
so will everything else. Lettuce,
hey, we need
hair.
to do a Linux like segment where you can kind of talk about this. We can really.
I think I just did all
I
the
think
stuff.
you just did.
I think I just did. I mean,
I think the only other things I'd say, look into Tails, look into Kali Linux, and look into CentOS. CentOS.
Yep.
Those would be the only things I would. But I mean, for the regular user, look into Tails.
Now, if you're really wanting to play with something that I personally use and I think's cool, is a product that does RAID. It's a NAS, and it's called FreeNAS. And I use it on a machine here, and I've had it up and running for a long time. And it runs on a USB drive, so that it turns the rest of your bays that you have in a PC. You can use all your bays, your SATA bays, to have as many disks as you can put in a regular PC and turn that into a NAS. And it uses the ZFS, I think I've said that right, protocol.
Okay.
But I've used it very successfully, and I've enjoyed it. I've only had one issue, but it's worked seamlessly for me. I had a power supply die in the machine, but that was just because, and I'm using an older 960, Optiplex 960, and it's been working well for many years. And just put drives in it.
That's interesting because I'm a huge Drobo fan. Anybody?
Yeah, you've told me about that. Yeah.
Yeah, my Drobo. I was pulling up the dashboard. I have a total of. No, I don't want to update it. I have 8 terabytes of capacity currently.
8 terabytes.
But a Drobo, it's a 4-bay device. It's USB 3. Yeah, they make different ones. I have the USB 3 model, and you can put up to 4 terabyte drives. You don't have to be 4 terabyte. It can be any mix and match of drives you happen to have that are SATA. I currently have a 4 terabyte and 3 terabytes, and that gives me there's a little bit of overhead because the way a Drobo works, I don't know how the FreeNAS works. If you lose a drive, you can basically put a new drive in, it'll rebuild itself.
Oh yeah, you can set, but that's just RAID. I mean,
yeah,
you can set it
plus, I had a first gen Drobo or second gen Drobo. Yeah, second gen Drobo. This is like a third gen. But anyway, my second gen Drobo, that's how it worked. Now with this newer one, it can work the same way, or you can configure it to where you'll have less effective disk capacity, but you can lose up to 2 drives simultaneously and not lose data.
Okay.
And I have a confession. I have 2 Drobos. I have one attached to a Windows box. It's my backup server.
Yeah.
So I back up all my using CrashPlan. You can look up CrashPlan too. I like CrashPlan.
Yeah. Well, guys, I'm going to call this a night.
Yeah.
Thanks so much to everyone who spent this evening with us, and those of you that hang on. I hope all of you have a great Christmas and holiday season. And I'll see both of you guys later, though.
Yep.
See y'all later.
All right, have a good one.
Thanks.
Yep.